I have been climbing trees since I can remember walking outside. One of my earliest memories is getting scolded for climbing into the low branches of a cedar tree at my grandparents' home. The swat to my tush wasn't felt because I had a diaper. I was so young. As I grew up, the Russian olives with all their thorns were about 10 foot tall and well trimmed, so the lower branches were clear up to 6 foot tall. They lined the driveway between our house and the neighbors. I would climb them to sit, watching as everyone came home, parking their cars just below me. It was fun for me and the neighbors, who would wave, smile, and tell me a dad joke, making their return home a little brighter each time. You could tell from the genuine smiles that lit up their faces, especially their eyes. I got in trouble when I was in first grade for climbing the spruce tree in the churchyard next door at recess. My tree climbing took place anywhere I went and had an opportunity to climb. Around the home, the neighbor's dad built us kids a tree house because we were always climbing his trees. Across the road was a pear tree that I would climb to pick pears, dropping them the 16 feet below me to one of the other kids to catch, preventing them getting bruised. We would toss the bruised ones into the fields for the wild animals to snack on. Down the road was a crabapple tree. We would climb to pick ammunition to throw at each other, and on occasion, one of the old-growth white lilacs had grown almost like a tree that I would climb to pick the perfumed blooms in the springs. In the wetlands behind my house, one of the largest trees I have ever climbed lived. It was a huge weeping willow. At some point, 4 separate willow trees grew about 6 feet apart from each other. Over the many years since they established their lives in that swamp, the tree trunks grew so large they grew together. In the center of the huge trunks, there was a secret chamber, created from the slow rot from decades of leaves getting caught in there and decaying. I would often catch painter turtles, then sit with them up in the tree in the secret hideout. I would coax them out of their shells and get to lightly run my finger down their jaws and necks. I don't know if you knew this, but painter turtles love to get their necks rubbed like that. I would return them to the deeper waters of the swamp when I was done getting to know them. Watching them as they dipped underwater, poking their little heads out to see what I would do next. As great as those tree climbing experiences were, I did have one favorite tree I would climb. At the end of the block grew an old-growth sugar maple. It must have been nearly 30 feet tall at the tippy top of its branches, and in the fall the leaves would turn gorgeous shades of reds. I would climb those thin branches at the top, swaying in huge arcs from the breezes that almost constantly blow at that height. It felt so dangerous but solid, being a part of the branch, moving with it so it wouldn't break with the extra weight of my body on it. The birds would come close to me when I was sitting up there. The birds were unthreatened at that height, no matter what it looked like. The robins were my favorite in spring and the cardinals in winter. I would close my eyes during evening climbs, facing the orange glow over the cornfields to the west. The gentle sway of the tree would rock me almost to sleep. Once I climbed down, those were the nights I had my best sleeps ever. I close my eyes anytime I want to bring me to those swaying currents of just existing in the moment, feeling one with time and space. I have never felt more alive than in those tranquil, dangerous moments. I was one with all of life, in the knowledge that it could have easily been my death. I could feel it in the sway, from the touch of the wind on my skin, taking my hair and blowing it freely. It was like a dance, my waltz with all of the universe at that exact moment. How could a heart forget such a feeling even if it tried to? To be grounded by reality and free to exist in the mind is a paradox of chaotic wonder.